Today's video is about one of the more unusual bagpipe embellishments, the Rodin. This particular embellishment shows up in classic tunes such as A Man's a Man for All That, as well as Castle Dangerous and a number of other ones. It typically is played from either a C or a D and involves a low G separated by a B to another low G and a lift to an A. Unlike a grip from D, however, the B in the middle is a little bit more open, it's more audible, but it's not a proper B with both fingers. It's a single finger motion between two low Gs. But don't worry, with this exercise right here, we're going to get it all sorted out for you. In the description below, there's a link to the PDF document we have right here, so go ahead, print that out, put it on a tablet, have it in front of you so you can follow along. You can see in the first 3 lines of this document that the B's here are represented with a triangular note head. I do this to distinguish it from a regular B. In this case, I want you to lift, again, just the one ring finger on the bottom, not both. At first, this is going to feel pretty awkward, but with practice, I promise it gets easier. So in line 1, we're going to start on a D, head down to a low G, lift the single ring finger for that B, back to a low G, and then end on an A. Every Rodin I've ever ran into ends on an A, and I've never seen one come from a note that's either a C or a D. And a quick aside, given that a grip from D and a Rodin would look exactly the same, how do you know which one to do? Well, to be honest, in my experience, I've never ran into a grip from D in any light music. The only time I've played a grip from a D is in pibroch, in the Lemlua variations of a particular tune. In light music, I just, in my experience, haven't ever seen a grip. So if I see that embellishment right there, I'm going to think it's a Rodin and played the way we're going to, well, learn it here. So in this exercise, we're breaking the Rodin down into its core bass components. In line 1, we're going to start on a D, head down to a low G, so that's everything down. Lift just that ring finger by itself, lower it back down to a low G, and then we're going to lift to an A. 2 beats on the D, 1 beat each on the low G, the false B, the low G, and then the A. And then we'll repeat that again from C, and we're just going to then go back to D and then back to C. I have the metronome here set at 86, but you set the metronome at a speed that works for you. When you can get through that line reliably, you're ready to move on to line 2. I wanted to give a special shout out to the members of my Patreon community. You'll see their names scrolling up right now. I'd love to add your name to this list. It makes these videos possible. The support is incredibly appreciated. There are certain perks you get at each of the tiers. Go check out the Patreon. Now in line 2, you can see the low Gs have been replaced by low G grace notes. This is the low G catch, and if you want to learn specifically more about the low G catch, there's a video, boom, right up there for you to learn about that. But here we're going to start on a D, head down to low G. We want to make sure we hear this low G, but we're not going to camp out on it terribly long. And then we're going to lift to a single beat on that false B, and then do another low G catch from that false B to the A. Now this isn't full speed yet, we're still just building up the dexterity we need to do this embellishment, but it's step 2. Let's give it a try. If you wanted more personalized instruction, I do give Skype and online lessons. Head over to www.commandyourbagpipe.com or email me at the address you see here, and we'll get you going. I'm working with folks from all over the planet, and I hope to work with you soon. In line 3, we're getting much closer to the final embellishment. In this case, we're going to spend a beat and a half on that D, and only half of a beat on the false B with a low G catch between them. So again, starting on a D, low G catch to false B, low G catch to a low A, but in this case, we're only going to be on that first D for a beat and a half rather than 2, and we're only going to be on that B for half of a beat. Take a listen to this, and then give it a go. One way to approach this particular line is when you hear that metronome click for the second time, bum, and you hear that click, as soon as that click happens, you're ready to go down to that low G. Bum, ba-dup, ba-dum, bum, ba-dup, ba-dum. Because the low G catch is actually taking its time from the note before, not the note after. So that beat and a half note is actually slightly shorter than that because of the low G catch stealing some of the time. So as soon as you've heard that beat, don't change on the beat. Make sure you do hear it, but then you can make the change. And then finally, the Rodin in the wild, as you'll see it, the whole of the Rodin embellishment, in my experience, at least how I play it, comes from the note before. That being said, I have heard and seen other pipers play it with various placements of the notes in and around the beat, some starting the Rodin on the beat, some the first low G is on the beat, but the second one's afterwards. So it's one of the reasons it didn't make the Highland Bagpipe embellishment timing tree poster here. More information on that right up there, by the way. But it's not on here because it seems to be a little bit more swimmy in where pipers tend to put it, and I didn't want to put it definitively in one spot. And it's not that common of an embellishment, so I was okay leaving it off, but that's why it wasn't included on this guy right here. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to do my best to put the Rodin before the beat, ending it on the beat, so the D or the C will not have its full 2-beat length, because again, we have to steal all of the time for the embellishment from that note. But the low A should be its full 2-beat value. Let's see how it goes. This is an embellishment I'm not trying to get through in rapid fire. I don't want that B to be super chirpy. I kind of want relatively even amounts of time on each note. I'm sure if we actually broke it down, you'd see that I'm probably on the B less than the low Gs. But it's supposed to be kind of a softer sounding embellishment. That's how I've heard it played. That's how I enjoy playing it. We have so many embellishments that are crispy and very staccato. It's nice to have a little bit of variety in the kinds of dynamic emphasis we can give the notes on our instrument here. I also have a line of bagpipe theme merchandise like this lovely hoodie right here, or the bagpipe timing embellishment tree poster here, as well as fun things like the prescription bagpipe mug we have here. So go check it out and let the world know that you command your bagpipe. As an extra bonus, I've included the tune Castle Dangerous down here because in measure 3, as you can see through the whole tune, it has a Rodin. In fact, it has a D doubling to a Rodin to a D throw. So it's a nice tricky little bit. I'm not going to teach you the whole tune here. You got it here. You can learn it on your own. But let's take a look at that third measure in particular. I'm going to bring the metronome down a little bit. Let's try 74. And let's work through just that one bar. D doubling, Rodin, D throw. So starting with the D doubling, we have a G grace note on D, E grace note on D, heading to the Rodin, which is down to low G, fake B, back to low G, lifting to an A. And then the D throw, we'll do a light D throw here. Low G, up to D, down to C, and back up. No metronome at first. Let's try the measure with the metronome. I would encourage you to play through that measure a number of times so it doesn't surprise you when you get into it when playing the whole tune. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you got something out of the video, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel. It helps more than you know. And if you enjoyed this video, check out this guy right here where we talk all about this particular poster, or this video right here, which I'm sure has something pretty cool in it. Until next time, everybody, cheers.